Hey there. We're continuing our journey through the Psalms, the Tehillim, in Hebrew, the praises, and we've been in Psalm 89, that's Peh Tet in the Hebrew lettering system, and we're finishing off the Psalm going from verses 38 through to verse 52. So we've seen that the first two sections of this psalm, the first one is a great praise of God and saying, who is like you, God? No one's like you. The second part of the psalm has been in praise of God's covenant with David and how God has established David on his throne. But this last part is a very different theme. Some scholars would suggest that there are perhaps 2 or 3 different songs put together into one here, and maybe even progressions on. And certainly this part of the psalm has a completely different tack to the previous one. So it's almost saying, look, here's the promises you've had, but God, you've rejected us now. You've turned away from us. You've actually gone back on that covenant. You've been saying how faithful you are to your covenant. You'll never break your covenant, even if we break that part of the covenant. But actually, God, we are suffering. You're allowing us to become the prey of our enemies. They're coming by and they're saying, look what's happened to them. We've become the scorn of our neighbours, he's saying. You've actually allowed our enemies to triumph over us. You've not stopped them from oppressing us. You've made this splendor that was David's, you've cast it down and it's come to nothing, and you've not helped us when we've been fighting our battles. And how long, Lord, it says in verse 46, how long, Lord, is this going to happen? How long will you hide your face from us? Are you going to hide your face from us all the time, forever, lanetzach? Or is your wrath, is your anger, are you constantly going to be angry with us, Lord? And then there's a recognition of how frail we are, of our mortality, how fleeting, how short our life is. Humans are just futility. The Hebrew word shav, they are just very futile. We all die, he says. We're all going to see death. We can't escape the power of the grave. So there's this real recognition. Maybe there's been a tendency or a worry that in praising David, that he's suddenly seen as some great power, some superstar. But there's a recognition here, no, God, we are all human beings. And that's why we need, Lord, we need from you that promise to be fulfilled that you have made to David, your faithfulness. Remember, Lord, your people are being mocked here, and we're bearing all this from the nations, the insults and the taunts that are coming back to us. And it's reminding God that David is, or that the king is, the anointed one of the Lord. Mashiach is almost the last word. Mashiach, your anointed one, God, is the last word of verse 51. So there's this cry to God, there's this appeal to God to be faithful as he has promised earlier in this song. Then the last verse is actually a blessing that comes at the end of this book of the Psalms. This is the 3rd book of the Psalms, and each of the 3 books ends with a blessing. And so this is saying, Baruch atah Adonai le'olam, Amen, Amen. Blessed are you, Lord God, forever and ever, Amen. And it's kind of a coda to the book, because we're going to move on to the 4th book with Psalm 90. Have a good day.